Sub traders, it's traded here. It's the 25th of September, Thursday. This is a prime example of bulls climb up the stairs and bears jump out the window, because what the fuck is this? I was waiting for my pullbacks, no pullbacks. Price has just been dropping ever since it rejected this high. Pulled back on Friday last week, and then Monday closed above this bullish fair value gap or bearish fair value gap, which is suggested, and I did say it might trap loads of buyers into the market, because we have been in this bullish order flow, and putting these two bullish candles in a row, people might, traders might think we are bullish and trade some kind of a pullback. But I've been saying, and I don't even mean to say it like I'm correct or anything, because this just, we've been bullish for so long. We've come into such a high level, and we put in a channel with SMT on with pound dollar with RSI diverging. It's a classic pattern that usually does play out after an extended leg, and it's been wanting to play out for a while, and that's what we're seeing right now. And we're now getting that market structure shift below this low, and ideally next week we might get that trade on a pullback into this range, because there was no trade today. There was a trade, I did see one, but like I was saying in my video yesterday, I wanted price to pull back into at least this second fair value gap on the 240 time frame, but wishful thinking, it didn't come back. And honestly, I did see a trade here during New York session just before the GDP and unemployment claims news that came out at 1:30 UK time, so 8:30 US time, and just that came out just before it. The entry was there just before the news, so I was quite hesitant in taking it, because I was expecting a deeper pullback. But I think one thing that was suggestive of not getting a deeper pullback was that there was no, on the 240, not 60 minute, because 60 minute we have it, there was no sign of a bearish candle that tried to push lower after making this low and then tried to push higher. This would have been a double bottom trade for me in the past. Trying to trade it up to that high on the 240 time frame would have been stung, but that's part of trading. Everyone trades differently, but there would be another double bottom somewhere else that would have been profitable. So it's pros and cons of every strategies. However, on this one, I was looking for bearish trades. I wanted price to come into this second fair value gap. However, because not seeing a bearish candle or bearish order block or bullish order block or whatever order block it is, I don't know. I don't trade order blocks. I just know if there was a bearish candle here and then price pushed higher, then we would have seen a deeper pullback. We didn't get that, and because of that, we on the 1 hour time frame we did, but I think 1 hour time frame, looking at it now, we had this bearish fair value gap that was previously held. Price didn't even come into 50% this 240, by the way. We had this liquidity grab off this swing high yesterday on the 1 hour time frame. We had bearish candle trying to push price lower, and then price pushed up. I was expecting price to come up, but I think take this liquidity high right here is a good range from this level to this here. Price came up, accumulation, that's another thing I like to see. And then during London session, we had this bearish candle, price pushed up, price came down, and after seeing this, I was expecting price to now find that momentum and push up to these highs. However, we came up, took out liquidity right here. That's where I saw the trade afterwards, and it's the way price took out that liquidity. Again, we had this accumulation at this New York true open as well, this swing high, another swing high being taken out, this accumulation, manipulation, followed by this bearish engulfing candle, and then displacement lower, this market structure shift, displacement lower. And this is where I wanted to trade, was right above this level, which was lining up to be a juicy trade. And then but because there was news coming out at 8:30, I wasn't sure whether we would push up and take out a high again one more time, and I wanted to wait for that news to come out before I went short. And yeah, by the time news came out, it was too late. I didn't want to trade around here because we just took out this low that I was waiting for price to take out. It could drop lower. I'm not sure where it can go into. Well, clearly it went all the way down to that low, and yeah, that was a trade. Again, similar to yesterday, right? We had left this fair value gap, price came into that fair value gap, tapped it, liquidity grab twice on a swing high right here, and then market structure shift, and it looks like we're finding some kind of a momentum bullish push, but could be, you know, another liquidity grab right here, which could provide a market structure shift around here, and then entry target down to that low. But we're quite deep in discount at the moment, and I am expecting price to pull back tomorrow again, push lower. I think long term, and this is something I was waiting for price to do when it was around here, is for price to come into this fair value gap that price had previously pushed up from. And I do believe it can come down to that low now, depending on how it starts to react around these areas. We might get a pullback, liquidity grab maybe, and then push down, but that's very long term, probably another few weeks of play. But right now, yeah, a pullback into this range. I think now that because we got the liquidity off this low, price has, you know, generated, there's going to be loads of buys around this area, regardless of whether you're SMT or not. SMT, whether you trade whatever strategy, there's going to, price could potentially find some kind of a bullish push from here, which I'm hoping would push price into a nice, this range, 50% off that range. I do think would be a very good area to go short. But I'm also expecting another bearish candle tomorrow, without a much deeper pullback. So we'll see how that plays out. Pound dollar was the one for me this week. I was expecting, you know, this weekly time frame candle. My whole prediction this week was bearish. I just wasn't able to capture any trades. Kind of annoying, because I want, like pound dollar, I wanted a deeper pullback, especially because we actually took out a low here and, you know, put in a market structure shift. I was hoping for a deeper pullback. We didn't get it, which is fine. Like I said, bears jump out the window, bulls climb up the stairs. We had that liquidity grab on Monday. Tuesday I took a short around here somewhere, an early short, but then yeah, it's just what it is. Didn't get that deeper pullback, market structure shift. I was expecting a deeper pullback here into the second fair value gap at least, right? At least. Again, similar to pound euro dollar, we didn't have any bearish candle that tried to push price lower at first, which was then followed by bullish candles right around here. It's just straight up bullish candles pushing up, and then we had this bearish engulfing liquidity candle on the 4-hour time frame, which is the 1 a.m. candle, and then we had that market. This is the market structure shift I was watching actually, but I didn't like the fact that it took out liquidity here, and then yeah, this market structure shift pullback. I was waiting for some kind of liquidity grab of this high, but then price just pushed lower, especially with news coming out. And for me, there's no way there's any room here to enter, because it's too late by then. And the trade, however, was this one right here above that bullish candle into that fair value gap. I think it would have been a good trade, but it didn't even come into that 50% off that fair value gap. So, oh, maybe it did. It came and tapped into that 50, but it didn't. So yeah, it's too low to that sell side liquidity. I wouldn't really want to be trading there, but because of the way price had been displacing lower, I do think that is a very good trade. And after seeing this accumulation followed by this bullish engulfing liquidity candle, I think probably was a good area to go short. Maybe on the 5 minute we had oh yeah, we do, right? This market structure shift, pull back, and then boom, drop lower, tapped into that fair value gap. Okay, that's a good trade, but I don't trade the 5 minute time frame because I don't have the time for 5 minute time frame. 15 minute is a push as it is, so I'm not gonna risk trying to get into a time frame that I can't manage. So let's see, it's Friday tomorrow. We've come into a level. I do think we can drop lower into this inverse fair value gap. We got a fair value gap there as well. And if it comes down there with some kind of a channel on the 15-minute time frame, yeah, that would be a good setup to go long. But I wouldn't really try to aim for price to pull back deep into that range on a Friday. It could do, it could not, I don't know. But if we do get a channel on the 15-minute tomorrow at that level, wait for a very good setup and then go long. However, don't trade and try to, you know, don't expect price to pull back too deep, because to me, it looks like it's going to be closing bearish tomorrow, and we get another bearish week on that weekly time frame. So yeah, let's see how tomorrow plays out. That's the play for tomorrow.